Live? Okay, we're on. So I got YouTube setting in Sumba, mean, in Arasa.Tchimna, in Arasa roots, yo, in Kapaden, Bon. Alright, in Sumba, greetings. This is Arasa Roots. Man, I'm back on live. I'm just gonna get Instagram set up right quick and then we're gonna get started. So that's just my introduction for YouTube. Let's see about Instagram Live. Alright. Cool. So we already have one person in the YouTube, Instagram. Okay. We have one person in the YouTube live. So, in Sumande Kumama, I'm happy. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, just gonna wait for a few people to come up in here real quick. Yeah. Let me see if I can put a different setting on. Let's see. Yeah, so y'all can ask questions. Definitely. So, this is just gonna be a quick. I don't even know if it's gonna be quick. I'm just gonna free flow. It's my first time doing live, so this is gonna be interesting. Yo, and Sumba, greetings. All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for everybody to come roll in, and then we're gonna get started in a little bit. Yo, and Sumba, Kumama, welcome, greetings. Yo, family, Fundumbongu. Yo, hello, how you doing? Love the emojis. You already know what time it is. All right, cool. So for the Instagram peoples, since a couple of y'all in here, I'm doing 2 lives right now. I'm going live on my YouTube, also going live on Instagram for y'all. So yeah, this is gonna be just a quick, not quick. I keep on saying that. Who knows? I'm just gonna let this go and be freeform for the most part. I've been away from social media for some time, as far as posting is concerned. I know people are used to seeing my face and seeing my travels, my Montuarts, my whole Sankofa journey. I know that was really attractive for myself to make those that content. It was fun to see myself. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, sometimes you have to really see yourself. You know. I'm rambling, so I had to finish that. Hey, Erica, yo, yo, let me see if I think you're from Guinea-Bissau, so let me see if I got some Creole. Yo, let me see. Uh, Dang, it's leaving me. I just came from Guinea-Bissau. Greetings, sister. How you doing? Man, languages are a vibe. I've been talking to a lot of people about languages recently. A lot of interesting things going on. I see a lot of Africans in the diaspora wanting to connect back with their roots, of course, you know, myself included. Um, Choso, but you know, it's like I see one of the main barriers is the language. You know what I'm saying? So I find that, you know, but through traveling, of course, and just through trying to just, you know, get an understanding of myself. Yo, Zulu, you already know. Yeah, man. Just trying to get a more deeper connection to my roots. I straight went into languages first, and it was kind of like a no-brainer. You know, it's normal. Yeah, so languages are a big part of what you know, how I connect with my roots, you know. And so let me see. Yeah, 4 people. Okay, it's good. So I'm YouTube and Instagram, so I'm gonna go back and forth between the two. But yeah, what's going on, everybody? Abalabaka. Abalabaka means how are y'all doing in the Krasa language, which is the Balanta Brasa language. The Balanta people are my direct paternal lineage. That is my ancestral ethnic group that I identify with, you know, in Karasa. you know, and that's why my name is Arasa. I know there's, I don't know if people knew that, you know, I made a video on my YouTube. So my YouTube cats, y'all know that. Y'all know that. But yeah, Rasa is a deep thing, you know, being balanced is a deep thing. And that's a, I would say that's central to my journey thus far as how deep I've been able to go in finding my roots. You know, I know as an African of the diaspora, me being Afro-Jamaican and Afro-American, you know, I have a whole heap of different ethnic groups, ethnic makeup in my whole genome, my whole, you know, body, if you will. But really what makes me me, in the African sense, is who my mother and my father are, you know, who their mothers and their fathers were, you know, and so on and so forth. You know, my lineage speaks for itself, you know. We have more than one name, every single person for the most part. We have a given name, more personable to us, and we also have a last name, what they call surname, right? And so that surname introduces you. When you introduce yourself, in Somande Chalihudi, yo, we atuk da. Yo, what's your name? Inka Chimna. In Nituk Chimna. My name is Chimna. You know, like my name introduces me before I even say anything. Well, I mean, there's other things that introduce you as well. But for the most part, as far as what you're giving, consciously, when you meet somebody, it's your name. You know, and this custom is adopted by many. So when you really look into it, it's like, okay, what's in the name, and what makes it so identifying. And I believe personally, for those who are still following this tangent, I believe that it introduces your lineage and who you come from, where you hail from, where you're from, who came before you. Because the people that came before you also have your name, at least your surname, right? So think about that, you know, and that's why a big part of my Sankofa journey as well was changing my name, you know, as far as, you know, what I really identify myself as, you know, who I introduce myself as, you know. Um, it's been an honor to be able to get that far in my journey. I just want to give thanks to that real quick. Let's see. I got deep for a little bit. Mudcloth in the background is beautiful. Yo, yeah, man. I got that from Philly. So if you go to Philly, there's a Dunde festival in Philly. I don't know if you're familiar. You can definitely get one there. Um, I went to that a few years ago, and I got this. I love it. It's from Mali. You know, part of my lineage comes from Mali, the Mali Empire. You know, so on my mother's lineage, my maternal side goes back to the Temne people and the Fula people, and big up No Saliu, yo, my brother. Of course, my Fula brother comes in right when I start talking about, you know, my maternal lineage, because that's how we're connected. So big up yourself, Saliu. That's my brother right there, yo, Pulo. Yeah, you already know. So when it comes to my maternal lineage, you know, I descend from the Mali Empire, my maternal lineage. You know, both ethnic groups that my maternal lineage goes back to, that I just mentioned. The Temne people who live in modern day Sierra Leone, which is a Portuguese word, by the way, Sierra Leone. That's the modern day name of what they would call Rocamp. That's that Rice Coast area right there above Liberia, what they call that. Um, the Temne people are one of the biggest ethnic groups. They are the biggest ethnic group there, and they are actually descended. That ethnic group is the history of that ethnic group traces back to the Mali Empire. They were the warriors of the empire. That was mostly their caste. They were in the Sofa caste, which means the guardians of the horse, which is a nod to the cavalry of the army, of the military of the Mali Empire. So when they really say that we're prisoners of war, you know, as Africans in the diaspora, you know, we are, you know, when it comes down to, you know, what happened to us in our lineage. You know, they like to say that we come from slaves, and I don't like that. I don't agree that we come from slaves. We were enslaved. Some of us were made to be that, but at the same time, that didn't take away who we were before we were in that predicament, which was farmers, warriors, priests, quote unquote, so on, whatever. You see me? Like, we are Africans before any type of 400-year history, quote unquote, lesson they try to give you in our school. Um, let's see what y'all saying. Yeah, man. Did you change? Nah, I didn't change my government yet, but name. It's informal right now. And then you said my hair grew a lot. Thanks, Ali. And then they said they're also named Lagos in Nigeria and Port Novo in Benin. See, that's two places that I descend from as well. And that was through doing DNA research and everything. I can get into that. But yeah, in Sumba. I'm glad we got people on the lives. Big up yourselves. Chimba. My last name is Chimna, which means praise. Praise it. What's one worthy of praise? So when I say Chimba, I mean praise you all. And I really mean that, because I wouldn't be going live if it wasn't for people actually following my journey, honestly. Really and truly. And y'all know that, because I don't really show my face in an informal setting that much. So yeah, big up yourselves. Love to everybody. I love everybody who is joining right now. But yeah, so I'm just gonna do a quick Q&A. I'm gonna start it right now in a second after I do something and show y'all something. But this is really just gonna be an informal live discussion where I just really show y'all what I've been up to, tell y'all some of the things that I've going on as far as my plans for upcoming content that y'all might want to see, that I definitely want to see put out. That's gonna happen. Just an update. And then that'll be after the Q&A. It says my thing upside down. Let me see. Blessings. Am I upside down? Let me see. Maybe I am on what's it called, on Instagram. Let me see. Y'all tell me. Y'all have me looking crazy. Yo, Khalil, big up yourself. Greetings and Sumba. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for following. Let's see now. So, better now? Yo, give thanks. Give thanks for the ones that love you. They will correct you. Oh, man. All right. Cool. So, YouTube people, thank you for your patience. Just had to fix my live. I love to do two lives at the same time, just so that people that aren't on my YouTube can see, can see me. And for those on my YouTube, you can see my Instagram. It's at Arasa.Roots. For those on my Instagram, you can see my YouTube, which I strongly recommend you do, because that's where most of my content really is on YouTube. So, Arasa Roots on all platforms. Yeah, repatriation to Guinea-Bissau. See, that's a whole video topic in of itself, brother, for real. Like, I can't even get into all of that in one night, honestly, because that is a whole topic. Repatriation for Africans is a whole topic that I have to really make a video on. So if y'all want a video on that, y'all want me to talk about that, definitely let me know in the comment section. Definitely let me know in general, whatever y'all want to, really discuss, because I want to have more discussive forums on my social media pages. All right, so got about 7 people. We're on Instagram. So right, just gonna let people continue to come in. But yeah, before I really get into a Q&A, I just want to give thanks and praises real quick. So how I do that in my culture, what I've learned through my travels, is whenever a discussion is beginning, whenever a topic is being discussed in a communal setting, or when you want to communicate in general, you use water as a way to to invite that communication in. So that's why I have a glass of water for my own, for my own refreshment, but also to pour libation so that a channel of communication can be open. And that channel of communication, I always want to be from a place where I'm connected to my roots, which is why my name is Arasa Roots, right? So with that being said, how I like to really set a space is by giving honor and praise to the Creator. We all were created on this earth. No matter what you believe in, we were all created on this earth. So when you really think about that, when you say Creator to mean whatever you want to call the Most High, for example, and I'm not going to rail down the list of different ethnic groups and what they call the Most High, but for me, I have my own name for it. But at the end of the day, it's a creator. It created everything. Created these plants, created me, everything. So I always give first thanks and praises to the Creator, Almighty. And I give that to the nature, I give that to a fellow creation to share that communication with y'all who are watching, but this is through a phone. You know what I'm saying? This is reality, It's right here, the natural plants. Instagram, I can't see my plants anymore, but I'm gonna move them for you. But the point is, the Creator comes first, at least to me. And I would recommend that for everybody. So, also, next in line, I come in name my ancestors. Natuk da bimamba di bimamba da. So my ancestors, I am a representation of them, the same way you all are representations of your ancestors. They're in your DNA. I always talk about DNA. They're in your DNA. You have your grandmother's eyes, your grandfather's nose, all these different features, not just physically, but also spiritually. So I give thanks and praises to the ancestors every time as well. And then finally, I just give thanks and praises to Earth, really, just to be able to share in communion with myself and with other natural beings. I give thanks and praises for that every time. So, give thanks and praises to nature. But yeah, all right, so let's get started with some Q&A. What questions y'all got for me? Because I haven't been up here in a whole, I don't even know how long. It's been like 6 months, maybe a year. I haven't posted on YouTube. And then on like Instagram, I've been posting here and there. I've been posting a lot more of my trips to Guinea-Bissau that I had in March. So I've been posting more about that journey and everything, because that was definitely like, that trip, you're gonna see the content, and I really hope that y'all enjoy the content that I have, because I still haven't gotten through all of it. I really haven't even scratched the surface of some of the stuff that I was able to really capture and really, you know what I'm saying? Like the moments are going. Y'all know I love to go to Africa. Come on, that's why you're here, right? But yeah. So it seemed like we have a question. So let's get started on that. Yo, what's the most important aspect about reconnection? Word. Benny Onjarama for the question. Miramon. So, Miramon, my brother Saliu, he asked, what is the most important aspect of reconnection? So, when you say reconnection, I'm assuming you mean reconnection with the ancestors. And so, because that's really what my journey is about. It's about reconnecting, remaining rooted in my roots, my ancestry. When I say roots, I mean like what keeps me rooted on this earth, which is the people that came before me. Binyam Neo Wule, the wise people of the past. You said, yeah. So, okay. So I think the most important aspect is to just know, knowledge of self. That's a term thrown around a lot. you know, but at the same time, it's thrown around for a good reason, because knowledge of self is the foundation for everything, you know, because your personal perception, the position that you are playing in this world is from yourself. So you have to know where you're coming from in order to know where you're going. That's sort of like, you know, one of my tattoos is Sankofa at the top, because Sankofa is a Akan Chui term meaning reach back and fetch what was lost. You know, so I think for us as Africans in the diaspora, and just Africans in general, a lot of what was lost was a lot of the knowledge of our ancestral way of life. You know, so I really want to reclaim that. I really want to stress that the most important aspect is really just to know about your ancestors, know their names, know that you have a whole bunch. That's the first one, really. Know at least the ones that you knew personally in life or through stories by name. Know their stories. You know, like those are basic three things: to know that you have them, to know where they're from, to know their names first and foremost. When you want to get to know something, like I said before, what's the most important thing that introduces you? Tukba, y'all names. Every time I see one of y'all join, it's the name. It's a name, you know, I'm seeing a name pop up, you know, to see who's joining. But yeah, so let's see. I hope that answers the question a little bit, and let me know if I didn't. Brother's asking, what is the official Mantu art of the Balanta people? So that's an interesting question. That might have to go more so on my Arasa Roots channel. But as far as like the official Mantu art of the Balanta people, my ethnic group, it's called Kutin. Kutin. That's all I want to say on that so far, because I did have experience with Kutin while I was in Guinea-Bissau. And that's funny, you know, that's funny for me, but it's gonna be really interesting for y'all to see when that video drops. So next question, let's see. You said, what was the COVID protocol for traveling to Guinea-Bissau? Want to know more before going to Benin? All right, brother. So you trying to go to Benin? I got a question on Instagram. These are all questions from Instagram. YouTube people, where y'all at? I gotta open up discussion for it. But anyway, so yeah, so the protocol when I went back in March to go to Africa in general was, let's see. You had to get tested. You had to get a test at least 72 hours before, and when you traveled, you had to get a test 72 hours before your return flight. So those are the main two protocols. There's probably others now, but those were the main two. So I hope that answers that question. Yeah, give thanks. We got a couple more people in the live. So for those who just joined, this is a Q&A. A Q&A for y'all to really see me and what I've been up to ask me anything about my page, and anything in general, really. Let's see. I'm gonna do more Mantu Arts content on my other page for those who asked. I got another question. I'm gonna answer that. Do you know any related tribes of the Balanta people? Yeah, so I would say related tribes. Okay. The Balanta people live in mostly Guinea-Bissau, but they're also in other countries as well, like Senegal and the Gambia. But we actually descend from the Nile Valley. So Balanta people, we migrated across the Sahel, aka the Sahara Desert, right below it, and we followed the river basins. So we went, because we were agricultural people, so we had to have the river as a central point, you know, for us where we lived at. So there's other ethnic groups that follow the same migration pattern, and they are also in West Africa right now too. So yeah, I wanted to put a title on Instagram. That's why I grabbed the phone, but oh well, it's all good. So next question. Oh, let me just answer that better. So, I would say, let's see, related. When you say relate, I gotta have you, brother Khalil. I gotta have you rephrase that question, because when you say related, do you mean related as in related in culture, like we have similar culture, or do you mean related as in like genetically related? You feel me? Like, so let me know what you mean by that specifically, and I'm to get back to that one because that's a good question. Um, Papyrus on YouTube. No, I have not been dealing with COVID. Fire. I'm well, yo. Sate, sate. I'm strong. I'm well. Lite sate. Lite kachole. What do you know about the Nubians? That's the next question. The Nubians, what do I know about them? I know a little bit here and there. You know, Tasseti, Nubia. Tasseti is the indigenous name for Nubia. I think Nubia is a Greek name. I'm not really quite sure. But Tasseti means the land of the bow. So that was the original name for that landmass that was below the Kemet area. That's all the Nile Valley in East Africa. So again, that's where the Balanta people, that's where I, quote unquote, I descend from, because by way of the Balanta people, they made that migration over from the Nile Valley in places that would be called Nubia, Kemet, and so on and so forth. Right. So, hope that answers that question. What do you know about Nubia? I want y'all to tell me some stuff. I feel like y'all know I can talk. Do you speak the language fluently? In Madasanti, chole. I can speak fine. I can speak a little bit. In San Krasa, Krasa, na Santi Lifte, na Binyambrasa, na Guinea-Bissau. So I can speak the Krasa language, which is the language of the Balanta people of Guinea-Bissau. But it's not fluent, as you can tell. So this is why my language videos exist, And there's going to be more language videos from me. But the first 7 lessons of the Krasa language are up online. You can find the Krasa language, Balanta language, online now. Thanks to my efforts, thanks to efforts of other Balanta descendants in the diaspora. We're really trying to reclaim Sankofa, remember? Reclaim our culture. Really trying to get those things back. Let's see. This tribe originally came from that region. Let's see. Culturally related. All right, so Khalil, you mean culturally related? Definitely. And I actually put this in my Balanta people video on YouTube. There's actually the Nuba people who are in Nubia, who are strikingly similar to the Balanta people culturally wise. And I say that because if you look at the 2 cultures, Balanta culture is a agro-pastoralist culture, meaning we mostly focus on agriculture and pastoralism. Agriculture, working the land, planting things, growing things, mostly rice nowadays, and pastoralism, which is actually having a large amount of livestock, in our case cattle, that you pastor, aka lead around, you shepherd, right? So from very, very young, Balanta boys are, trained to be pastoralists first, to take care of animals first, right? And so I find that same culture of young men taking care of their cattle, their animals, in a lot of ethnic groups along the Sahel, but specifically the Nuba people of southern Sudan, which is where modern day Nubia is at. They also wrestle. They also kutin. So, there's also that wrestling element. There's only certain ethnic groups I find that really, really champion wrestling as their main sport and of competition. And so the Nuba people also do that. So that's one tribe. That's one tribe, ethnic group. I use those interchangeably. West Africa, I normally refer to ethnic group. In East Africa, they refer to tribe. So, I try to be respectful. But you ask which tribe is similar to the Balanta people, I would say the Nuba people. Definitely look into them. Respect to all the Nuba people. Yeah, it's very common. Like wrestling, it's a very common thing. all over Africa, especially West Africa. I think it's the #1 sport in Senegal, actually. So there's that. Um, am I writing another Balanta book? That's in the works. Yeah. You already know. Go cop my book if you haven't already. Um, link in my bio on Instagram. My Instagram is Arasa.Roots. Says you are Balanta and Fula, so you can claim originality from Nubia. See, my boy Saliu knows his history. Saliu is one of my brothers from Guinea-Bissau, and he's a Fula. He's from the Fula ethnic group of Guinea-Bissau, which is my maternal lineage, and that's why we're connected. And he teaches me a lot about like history from West African, like an Afro West African, a Muslim West African perspective. Which you got to remember, a lot of the empires in West Africa were Islamic empires in history. Not all of history. There was a time before Islam. I want to make that clear. But you got to learn really a lot from that cultural, religious perspective sometimes. So I appreciate Saliu Onjarama. Let's see. I got more questions on Instagram than I do on YouTube. YouTube people, come on. It's all good. I have never gone live on YouTube before, so this is a new thing for a lot of people. So yeah, how common are the Fula people in Guinea-Bissau? So the Fula people are very common. They're actually, besides the Balanta, they're the largest ethnic group in Guinea-Bissau. So it's funny though, actually, Balanta and Fula actually intermarry a lot in Guinea-Bissau currently to this day. So there's a lot of intermarrying, intermingling of culture between Balanta and Fula. And when I was in Guinea-Bissau, or rather, I was in Senegal when I learned this about Guinea-Bissau, is I was told that the reason why there's a connection between those two ethnic groups is because of the culture. They're both pastoralist cultures. The Fula people are the most renowned pastoralists in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Go look up the Fulani people. They're the most numerous ethnic group in, I think, the whole continent, and their whole culture is revolved around not only like it's really cattle and pastoralism. That's the root of that culture that I found from my research. So they're very common in all over Africa, but specifically in Guinea-Bissau, the current prime minister, president, I think, is Fula. So that should say something. So yeah, we're 30 minutes in. This is time flies, man, for real. That's interesting. Let's see. Yo, peace. All right. Yo, big up Manifest Praxis, yo. I'm on Instagram. I'm on live on both platforms. So my YouTube, Instagram. I want everybody to go do me a favor and really check out the works that are being done right now from a user called Manifest.Praxis, or otherwise known as Root Life. Go check out Root Life on Instagram, on YouTube. Listen, I just that brother right there has been somebody that's been instrumental in my personal journey over the last year. So I really want y'all to really recognize that and recognize him for that. So Chim Biafra. As far as all the nature stuff I was saying before about, really being in touch with your culture, like my culture ancestrally has been agriculture. That's been the culture. And for me to have that consciousness growing up, but not really having the tools to be able to embrace that, it's really been an honor to have Root Life been able to give me an opportunity through community gardening and just urban gardening and urban farming in general, so I can get in touch with that side of my roots. So I give ultimate praise always. So Lam is a Senegalese form of wrestling. Lam is the Wolof wrestling. The Wolof are predominant people in West Africa and Senegal, actually. So yeah. Let me see if I have any other questions. Descend from Fula people in Guinea-Bissau. Oh, that's what's up. So you're maternally Guinea-Bissau from the Fula people of Guinea-Bissau. So you took the same African ancestry test that I did. So that means we're kin, brother. So yeah. Yeah, there was Fula people are the second largest in Guinea-Bissau. Saliu said that we're the minority in every country besides Guinea-Conakry. Oh, okay, they originated in North Sudan. Okay, my bad. So the Nubians are from North Sudan, not South Sudan. South Sudan is a country, it's probably the youngest country, I think, in Africa, maybe the world. So it's, yeah, I just want to make that correction. How was your experience with the Balanta people? Okay, here we go. Questions. So one question was, what was my experience? How was my experience? Abala and Sum Binyambrasa. How did I, experience the Balanta people? Very well, bon. I was welcomed since 2019 in the Balanta community. And the Balanta community is a special one because it's one that is, just like our ancestors were, decentralized. The Balanta people, for those who don't know, the word Balanta is a Mandinka word, which is another ethnic group that means those who resist. So it's funny when you think about it, why would another ethnic group name us those who resist? And if you look at the history, you'll see that it's because we were one of the most resistant people in West Africa to not only Islam, but also any form of oppression, capitalistic oppression, theocratic oppression from empires like Mali, because we were also a part of the Mali Empire when it was up in its heyday, so to speak. So we were in the southern part of the Mali Empire, and we have a history there. And that's one of the places that we went to after we left out of the Nile Valley. So there's a really big, respect for Balanta people, no matter where I go in West Africa. And it's interesting because not a lot of people know about the Balanta people, unfortunately, and that's what I hope to be able to change. I want people to know about my ancestral ethnic group and to know how great our culture is. Because I personally believe it's really our culture and how we really stick true to certain ways of life that are in tune with the earth, that are in tune with the Creator and our ancestors. That's the reason why we're able to be so resistant to other forms of influence culturally, right? So I've been able to be blessed and really, I'm grateful to have experienced that culture on a really deep level. I think I'm probably, other than a few other people who have been to Guinea-Bissau, I think I'm the main person who has actually embraced the Balanta culture as deeply as, actually like going there and like, I really love my culture. We have a beautiful culture. Chosa, indeed. Somebody said we have a beautiful culture. So yeah, it was really my favorite part about really getting to know the Balanta people, like on a personal level, through travels, through talking with people online, is really just to see like how the culture and like the ethos of the whole ethnic group, how people see themselves, how people see the world, how Binyam Brasa interact with the world, to be known as resistant to oppression. You see that in the character of the people. And that's one thing that I really wanted to get to know more. And I'm thankful that I was able to really witness that during my travels. They took care of me. They knew about their history. They knew what happened in the slave trade. When I go back to some of these villages that my ancestors actually descended from, like I met with the elders, I shook their hands and I talked to them. And that in of itself, for me as a Balanta who's not from the culture natively, not by my own choice, but because of the slave trade, for me to be able to go back into my culture and be welcomed by these people, as a long lost family member, literally, it that's a feeling in my heart that is just, it's inexplicable almost. Like I'm having a hard time even, expressing this. But hopefully through my content, hopefully through the more the content I put out, y'all will really see it. Because there's one thing about Balanta people. We don't believe it till we see it. That's one thing I learned. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. Yo, fight. Yo, family, yo. Ndewu. Yeah, so it's a blessing. I give thanks for you being able to see my path, and see my journey and see my growth. Not just my locks. You know what I'm saying? The locks. I feel like even with that, we can go into that too. But the locks, I feel like are a representation physically of a journey that I've been on. That a journey anybody with locks is on. They were the largest group fighting against colonialism. That's what somebody said. Exactly. They were. And that's a Balanta person. It's a Binyambrasa Asante. That's a Balanta person speaking it, and being like, we're here. You know what I'm saying? I've been able to link up with so many Binyambrasa that were from Guinea-Bissau, from Europe, from a lot of these places, and it's just been amazing to learn from them because those are the main people teaching me. The main people, the majority of the people teaching me before I went to Guinea-Bissau, the language, the culture, the character, showing me their character, were people in Brazil, Portugal, UK, United States, here where I'm living at. It's been a blessing, yo. So I really give thanks for all the Balanta people that I've encountered in my journey. I do this in part for all of y'all as well. Love the fact that Guinea-Bissau has a high animus percentage. Yeah, so Khalil said that he appreciates the fact that Guinea-Bissau has a high animus percentage. For those who don't know, animism is a form of religion that is not Abrahamic. It doesn't follow the Abrahamic religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Animism more so focuses on the direct connection to the Creator through the material, not the material world, but through nature and through ancestors. Nature, to me personally, nature is divine, and and animism believes the same thing. So it's no surprise that when you look into ancient African spiritual systems, like Kemetic science, for example, like the Medu Neter, the word Neter is a Kemetic Egyptian word for divine or deity, or quote unquote what you would call God, right? The Neter, which sounds like nature, is the word for the divine to the ancient Cometians. So I don't find that that's a coincidence, So that's just to speak to animism a little bit, because someone said that they really like how Guinea-Bissau preserves their traditional. I don't call it animism. I really just call it traditional African beliefs. Traditional African spirituality, ATRs, African traditional religion. It's all based in, I believe, the connection through the Creator, through the divine, through your ancestors and nature, and many different manifestations. Because every single ethnic group in Africa has their own quote unquote religion or spiritual system. So yeah, I agree. I'm thankful for that too. I think the only other place outside of Guinea-Bissau that has a high animus percentage is Benin, and a lot of us have Benin ancestry as well. Do Balanta have locks in general? I've seen a few with locks, but I don't think it's really a part of the culture that deep, which was interesting to find out because I've always wanted locks. Yeah. Let's see. Any other questions? What similarities do you feel that you have with the Balantas in Guinea-Bissau that makes you feel more connected with them? Well, I had to learn about the culture and Balanta culture to know the similarities, because before they were similarities in my mind, they were just like how I was acting. So, for example, like, our name is Balanta. That's not our traditional name, but that's what we're known by. What does it mean? Those who resist. Okay. So tell me why in my lineage I have people who were part of revolutionary struggles in this country. You know, through it, my dad, my great grandfather, who was actually a pastor in the South, but it my dad who was who was actually a part of the Nation of Islam back when it was a thing back in the day. And everybody knows the Nation of Islam is one of the most, as far as an organization goes, no matter what you feel about them, they're one of the most revolutionary groups for Africans in America, as far as what they have been trying to do as far as helping us. Whether or not they've been doing it the way that people agree with, is besides the point. So to be connected with that, for me to be a resistant person to like things that aren't fair, there's a moral thing. There's a character, to be in Balanta, I think, and so that was always there. But also my connection with agriculture. I think that's the biggest connection, I would say. Besides the resistance to oppression, the strong feeling of that, there's also a connection with nature that I think is unique to the Balanta people. And I know for a fact that that's why a lot of us were taken in the slave trade. We were taken for our agricultural skills. So that's the biggest thing. I think, for me, when I look at my lineage, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, they were all farmers. And to this day, my dad and my grandpa both have gardens. They taught me how to garden, So that's one of the things that we retained, from the rice fields of Guinea-Bissau over to the rice fields of the Carolinas, and the cotton fields of Georgia, whatever they were growing, they had to have skilled laborers, skilled growers there to do that. So that's something that, I still have to this day. I take care of all these house plants that you see, you know what I'm saying? So it manifests in different ways. Also the food and the likes of the Balanta people. I noticed that the food, like certain dishes are dishes that I used to have in like back in the day. So one was like peanuts, right? Boiled peanuts is one of the things that I know that my dad used to enjoy growing up. And, his family was from the South. We thought that was just an African American thing, a cultural thing. Come to find out, it is, but it has roots. It has roots in Guinea-Bissau through the Balanta people who told me, like specifically, that they love peanuts. They call it soup. Excuse my pronunciation, but they call it soup. And that's the name for peanut in Krasa. And some people boil it. Some people make certain things out of it. So it's really been an agricultural connection. That's how I've really, internalized it. But it's also the way we act. I think other Balanta descendants would be able to answer that question further. Because it manifests differently for everybody. Because at the end of the day, you got to realize that, my whole genome isn't Balanta. My whole 100% of my DNA isn't from, Guinea-Bissau, right? It's from other parts of Africa too. So I also have those elements in me as well. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. That's something that I have to really make a video about more, to really think about further. How the Balanta culture has been retained in my lineage, in other people's lineages. There's actually a whole non-profit organization that is devoted to, creating a space where the Balanta culture in the Americas is preserved and celebrated. That's called the Balanta Brasa History and Genealogy Society in America. And so, as a member of that organization, I've been able to trace my genealogy, which is like who my ancestors were, to different parts of the Americas. And through that, I've been able to see how not only like what ethnic groups were brought over to America, but also how certain ethnic groups were compiled at different concentrations in different parts of the South in America. And the Americas in general, from the Caribbean down to South America, even still. There's different numbers of different ethnic groups that go into the cultural makeup of those people. Um, so yeah, it's deep. That's what my channel's about, you know, and that's what my content I really want it to be about going forward. Is really how, like, you know, for me how it manifests, but also how it manifests for others. You know what I'm saying? Because I can tell you for a fact that over the last year where I haven't been posting online, I've still been connecting with people based off of their roots. You know, helping people find their roots. You know, either through doing it the way I did, or just through talking with them, asking them, encouraging them to, hey, go find out who your ancestors were, find out their name, find out what their story was, what they went through. Simple things. I think for everybody in the diaspora, Africans need to know our history and where we're coming from. Know our history through our personal lens, which is through our personal ancestry. Yeah, we have overarching, you know, ancestors for the collective, you know, as a people, but we also have direct ancestors that really have shaped our reality to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a really fancy way to say we all have parents and grandparents who know about you more than a Google search can tell you. So, and it's really just based off of just knowing your personal story too, and trusting yourself. Because, you know, some people don't like to take DNA tests, and I tell them that's fine. You don't need to take a DNA test to connect with your ancestors. You really don't. I did because I wanted I wanted to connect to Africa. That's why I took African ancestry. But if you want to just connect with your ancestry in general, it's just those 3 steps, you know. And if you don't have an elder in your community, because it's really the elders that pass down the knowledge. If you don't have an elder, I would suggest finding one in your family. Or if you don't, then I would really suggest really tapping into your own spirit. You know, really finding your own spirituality and connecting with your ancestors through that channel of spirituality. Because, yeah, that's honestly the most purest way, I believe. Yes. So, Choso, let's see what we have. Question. Yo, and Sumba, greetings to everybody that's joined in. How are you trying to increase your knowledge about your ancestors? That's a great question. That is an excellent question. So, I'm trying to increase my knowledge about my ancestors by doing those 3 things. Having those conversations with my family, you know, actually, you know, finding out the names and stories of my ancestors, talking with my ancestors. Yes, talking with your ancestors. That was something on my journey that was, you know, I had to learn how to do through my spirituality. But yeah, through knowing more about them through communication, you know, communicating with my ancestors, alive and, you know, transitioning. So I plan to just, you know, learn about the history more so through the internet, and, you know, the culture through the internet somewhat, but through actual, like, being around my family, being around my ethnic group, you know, going to Guinea-Bissau, going to the South, going to Jamaica. And being in that energy is different because you get to see, remember I said we got to see it to believe it. You get to see the culture. You get to see your ancestors. I visited my great-grandmother's grave and my great-grandfather's grave right after coming back from Guinea-Bissau 2 years ago. Amazing experience, you know, and you know, Choso. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Thank you, Abene mean. Appreciate all y'all. Abene. Abene means thank you. Which I probably picked up on that by now. Just gonna go through and see if I have any other questions on Instagram real quick. Woo, 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 woo. All right. I still have 8 people with me on live. I appreciate y'all. I've been in. So Monday, yo, big up Ben Cabral. Yo, everybody on my Instagram, go follow Ben Cabral. He's another Balanta Biafra doing amazing work for our people. Trying to get, some aid over to our people from us in the diaspora, not from some random, nonprofit organization. Through actual people from the places doing good work for their people. That's one of those people. So, big up Ben Cabral. You already know what it is. I see him, Biafra. Abalaka. Because I want to, inang Santi Krasa, I want to speak Krasa now. Nanucha 14 said, I think being is important to be around them. Yeah, being around my ancestors, being around my family is important. Like for everybody, that goes for everybody rather. Especially those living in the villages, because they're the ones preserving the culture. Chosa sister, thank you, our brethren. Yo, listen, if you can go to Africa and visit the village, please do so. Please, because there's a negative connotation about Africa. And a lot of my, Africans that are from the continent know about this connotation. Where people think that, the less developed parts of Africa are less desirable. And that's not the case. At least for me, somebody who appreciates culture, and I'm sure all of you appreciate culture, because you're on my channel, you're on my, you're on my platform. It's all about culture and roots. And where you're gonna get the most culture and roots, or what they say in Jamaica, roots and culture, you're gonna get it in the village, where the people be at. You feel me? Like you're gonna get it, in the more traditional rural parts of Africa. So, if you can, get over your fear, whether whether you have it or not, subconsciously, definitely try to link it with some people and learn where you're from first, and then visit a village that you actually descend from, because even with that, like I did it differently than I see a lot of people on here. Like there's a lot of content creators who go to Africa a lot, them have money, you see me. But I'm talking multiple times a year, and that's dope because they get to show the people what it's like in so many different places. So I appreciate them. But one thing I find that is lacking from some content creators is like actual connection ancestrally, going back to the villages that we ancestrally descend from directly. Because it's like if you go to a random village and you're not related to any of the people there, or it doesn't have, it's not gonna have the same. It's not gonna have the same fight. It's not gonna have the same power, because there's power with connecting to the village. You know what I'm saying? There's power in connecting to the country. You know what I'm saying? Going back to where your grandparents from. Same way for my Africans in the diaspora. You don't have to go all the way back to Africa. You should. You're going to, hopefully. But you can start where you're at. And I always tell people this. Start where you're at. Start with your ancestors that are in the land that you currently occupy. And if you don't have any ancestors in the land you currently occupy, why? You know what I'm saying? Why would you occupy that space? You want to be close to your ancestors, physically, spiritually, in all ways, always. So, that's why I've done what I've done, but I've also taken it a step further to know where, my ancestors specifically come from. So that's important. That's always important. Appreciate somebody saying that. Let me see. When I go back to Guinea-Bissau, I will be in Gabu, not in Bissau. Oh, Gabu is to the east, I believe, of Guinea-Bissau. That's all you said. Ochole, yo, kachole lem, yo. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine as well. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Bene. Okay. So we're just about at the hour point. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Bene mean abente, babente, babente, babente. Insumande babente kumama. I'm so happy y'all all came and shared space with me here. Yo, and anybody that really wants to really see anything as far as content from me, to know more about my journey and anything like that, please, for the ones on YouTube, please comment under this video when I upload it. Tell me what kind of content, tell me what kind of videos y'all want me to make, because I am back to making videos. And also for those on Instagram, you know, if you always want to learn, if you ever want to learn about, you know, either more about me or you're on your ancestral Sankofa journey as well, you can definitely hit me up, you know what I'm saying, and see, you know, if we can talk about that, because I love to talk about people I love to talk with people who are on the same journey as me, you know, to their roots, you know, to finding out where their roots are, you know, to connecting with those roots some way, shape, or form, you know. So we can definitely chop it up. So in Somande again, thank you. Always great hearing from all y'all. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy in Somande. But all right, y'all. Wate sim. Good night, everybody. I'll see y'all. Wate.